I am recording this episode on our back porch during a rainstorm. It just felt like the right place to be, and, I'm sorry if it makes me need to pee. Let's get started. Hi, welcome to the April Sings a Lot podcast, where I share a story, a song, and invite you to sing along. This is my story. This is my song. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to go to something called Savvy, which is for music entrepreneurs. It's a week-long, intensive entrepreneurial experience specifically for artists and musicians. Fabulous. Cannot recommend it enough. And it's at the University of South Carolina. So I drove to that conference, and then from there, my husband was going to fly in and meet me, and then we were going to take a vacation and do a road trip along the East Coast. I drove there, no problem, had a great time at the week-long conference, but then I was exhausted and so ready to go pick my husband up from the airport and then let him take over some of the driving and just get some good rest. So I wake up the morning of picking him up at the airport, map it out, get there in plenty of time, actually even do a dry run like through the pickup area at the airport just to make sure I know where I'm going. And I'm in the cell phone lot texting him as he lands where we're going to go eat for lunch. And then he says he's got his luggage, he's ready, so I drive to get him. He's nowhere to be found. Cannot see him, don't see him anywhere. So we're on the phone and he's like, maybe there's a different place that I should have been. And I was like, yeah, I'm in the right place. I don't know where you are. Well, he then said, he goes to a security guard or someone that's directing traffic and says, is there a different spot to go, for pickup? And the person says, no, this is it. And then my husband says, well, April, I'm going to ask you a stupid question. Are you in Charleston? And I said, well, of course I'm in. And then I rounded the corner and it says, welcome to Charlotte. I had gone in the wrong direction and was in the wrong place. I was so upset. And so was he. Understandably so. My husband was not happy either. I specifically remember him screaming into the phone, yelling and saying, Charleston! As if he said it loud enough, it would make it true that I was in Charleston. And then I was crying and I was just saying, I'm in Charlotte. Oh, I'm in Charlotte. And then eventually, because I just couldn't handle it anymore, I said, I gotta go. And I hung up. And I pulled in to the closest parking lot I could find, which happened to be a Holiday Inn Express. And I'm just sobbing. And I called my best friend and was explaining what happened, that I went to the wrong airport. I'm in the wrong state. I'm now hours and hours away from where I need to be. And my husband's mad at me and we're about to start a road trip together. This is not good. No part of this is good. Well, meanwhile, my husband has called his best friend, which happens to be the husband of my best friend. And apparently her husband was saying, yeah, I hear your wife crying. Yeah, my wife is talking to her right now. Don't you think this is just a little bit funny? Can you see a little bit of humor in this? Well, eventually, I got something to eat and got some gas and started back on the road to get to Charleston. And then my husband got a shuttle into Charleston, got set up at a restaurant, ate a little bit, drank a little bit, was able to store his luggage somewhere and then just kind of wander around and enjoy the sights of Charleston while I was driving. And he called a few more of our friends, and they were all like, thought it was really funny. And so that was helpful to get him in a better mood. And then I was just so relieved that he wasn't mad anymore. And we ended up having a great road trip. But the only story we tell from that road trip is how April went to the wrong airport to pick up Mike. So it just goes to show that attitude really is everything, and how you frame an experience can make or break the whole thing. In my defense, which my husband will say there is no defense, but let me just explain that when I was at the University of South Carolina and I was mapping where to go, I typed in CHARL and Charlotte came up first. Charleston and Charlotte have the same first 5 letters. They are the exact same distance from the University of South Carolina. And so it was an honest mistake. It was a mistake and it was my fault. But still, there is a reason. Like, it's not completely far-fetched that I just picked the wrong airport. Anyway, the song I'm going into right now is He Leadeth Me. And I hope you'll sing with me.
He leadeth me, O blessed thought, O words with heavenly comfort fraught. Whate'er I do, where'er I be, still 'tis God's hand that leadeth me. He leadeth me by his own hand. He leadeth me, his faithful follower I would be, for by his hand he leadeth me. Sometimes mid scenes of deepest gloom, sometimes where Eden's bowers bloom, by waters still or troubled sea, still 'tis his hand that leadeth me. He leadeth me by his own hand. He leadeth me, his faithful follower I would be, for by his hand he leadeth me. Lord, I would place my hand in thine, nor ever murmur nor repine, content whatever lot I see, since 'tis my God that leadeth me. He leadeth me by his own hand. He leadeth me, his faithful follower I would be, for by his hand he leadeth me. And when my task on earth is done, when by thy grace the victory's won. In death's cold wave, I will not flee, since God through Jordan leadeth me. He leadeth me by his own hand. He leadeth me, his faithful follower I would be, for by his hand he leadeth me.
All right, that concludes another episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to find out about new episodes and receive other extras, sign up for emails at aprilsingsalot.com, and you'll be in the loop whenever something new comes out.